Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Let's look at some sporting stories. We just have to start from the home scene. Nigerian ladies, that's the Flamingos. Right now, they are in Turkey trying to at least edge ahead of the World Cup that will be coming up in India. And recently, they played against Galatasaray women and they were able to win that game. Although their coach is talking right now. Let's look at the first story that has to do with him. It says FIFA Under-17 Women World Cup. We are 95% ready. Flamingos coach, that's Olowo Kere, while the girls are really trying to fine-tune themselves ahead of the competition coming up in India, and hopefully they can at least get to 110 if it's possible before the competition starts. Against the Galatasaray women, they did well. We saw how the action went down, and the ladies have been very fantastic. I see you have in the studio again this time around. Sharif Abdallah is here.
Good evening. Thank you very much as usual. I'm always glad to be here.
Good one. The ladies are really trying to edge ahead because we really need to do well in this competition. This will be the first competition that will involve the current NFF board. And we want to see our ladies do well in this competition. According to their coach, they are 95% ready, and that's a good one. And I hope that that readiness will actually come to play by the time they get to play against all the teams they face in New Zealand, Chile, Germany in the first round of their group.
Well, these are household names as far as world football is concerned, even though Nigeria is also not left out. We're not underdogs, trust me. When you mention Nigeria in footballing world, you know, each and every one of, if there is other, you know, people across other nations, they will certainly look at you because you deserve some respect when you mention the name Nigeria in footballing world. And in women football, I think we're one of the best nations, not just in Africa, but in the world. So these girls are expected to, you know, do extremely well. You made mention of, you know, probably they will set the tone of ushering in the new NFF Executive Committee led by Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau. And we expect them to do well because I have watched them train, I have watched them play. I was able to watch the highlights against Galatasaray. They've done extremely well. They're in Turkey to be in the right and good frame of mind to get themselves ready for this U17 FIFA Women's World Cup. And I have a strong belief, I'm absolutely optimistic that Olowo Kere has all what it takes to tinker this team to glory.
Well, we'll wait to see what they'll be doing. The World Cup is starting soon by 11th of October. That should be on the faces of the whole world. Under-17 World Cup taking place in India, and Flamingos are 95% ready, according to Olowo Kere, the coach of that team. We wish them all the best. And now we're talking about Nigerian football, but this time around, we're talking about the Super Eagles. Recently, they went out to Algeria to play some friendlies against the Team B of Algeria and also the Desert Foxes, or the one they call the Phoenix of Algeria. Well, even though the two matches, we drew one, we lost one. But according to the Super Eagles coach, Peseiro says, well, his headache right now is the goalkeeping department. And really, we've been talking about it. It was the first goalkeeper, Maduka Okoye, that kept against the home Algerian team. And it ended 2-2. You saw a one lackluster performance in that game for him. And the second one that involved Francis Uzoho. Well, another one that happened where he actually conceded two. It means if you look at our goalkeeping department, can we say we don't have a goalkeeper right now? We need to do something. But Nigerians are calling to the coaching crew to look inward. Look at Nigerian league. We have a lot of goalkeepers that can do it. If Okoye, Uzoho, Akpeyi, if they cannot meet up, we have a lot of Nigerian goalkeepers in our own league that can at least be upgraded to this particular section.
Well, that department is really given a lot
serious
of headache. Yes, serious one for Nigerians and even for the coaches. Trust me, I absolutely agree with the fact that it is time for us to look inward. We have some fantastic goalkeepers across the NPFL teams. So it is just time to focus. The likes of Peter Rufai and Ike Shorumu, you know, and host of other names that, you know,
Nyama, Vincent
Nyama, that were between the sticks, made mark in Nigerian football, especially the NPFL. And since Inyama left, I think there was respite after Inyama left when Kali Keme was brought in. Yes, was brought in to step into the big shoes, because Inyama has been there for a very long time, and he has made his mark. He has casted his name on that solid rock of history for Nigerian football. So Ikeme came with high hopes and he delivered. Unfortunately, that ailment took a toll on Ikeme. So I believe since Carl Ikeme left, we've never had a reliable goalkeeper.
That's been from one to the other.
Yes, maybe, I mean, we just, maybe one good game and the other is, nothing to write home about. So with all due respect to these two aforementioned goalkeepers, Uzoho and Okoye, I don't think they're really up there. I think it is time for us to, I go with the idea, with the concept of looking inwards, inwards. Let's look at the league. We have a lot of fun. I mean, there's a guy that I saw in the home base Super Eagles, that's the Chan Eagles. What's the name of him? Ojo.
Ojo, okay.
Yes,
Olorunleke Ojo.
Olorunleke. Thank you for the correction. Ojo. Yes, I mean, I've been monitoring him since during his days with Eyimba. I beg your pardon, with Aqua United.
Aqua United.
Yes, I mean, apart from him, there are a lot of goalkeepers.
We have another goalkeeper with Remo Stars, something Bankole, fantastic
goalkeeper. So I mean, let's give our local goalkeepers a chance, because I mean, we have not been in Russia. Uzoho had a fantastic tournament, even though we were kicked out that was 4 years ago, the World Cup. I mean, since then, we've not really seen the very best of Uzoho. Okoye came with a very high hopes. He started well, and I think the rest is something, nothing to write home about. I mean, he has really been, hot and cold. And for a goalkeeping department, you need consistency, because this is one department that will take someone years. A goalkeeper has a longer lifespan, more than an outfield player. So it's time for us to look inward. I believe we can get some of the finest goalkeepers in the league.
It is very possible that we can get another Dodomayana, the one they call Peter Rufai, or you look at Ikeshirumu, well, the cat, Vincent Eyama, or Kali Keme.
Even Abiodun Barua.
Yes, we still have them in our league here. It is very possible. All we need to do is to look in what, don't underrate these guys, just give them the chance. Let there be competition between them. You'll be able to spot the difference, even though we always want to understand the fact that, our home base are not as prolific or good like the foreign one, but really, if you give them the chance, who knows? Maybe the home-based goalkeepers can actually do better if we actually open up by allowing them to be there. Well, we've been talking concerning Nigerian goalkeeping department. Peseiro says that's the headache he's having, and we just hope that headache will be relieved by looking inward into our league. Now, let's quickly run through some of the league that we couldn't do in our morning session. Let's talk about German Bundesliga. Bundesliga matches were played. A lot of matches. We have Werder Bremen walloping Borussia Mönchengladbach 5-1. Hertha Berlin Offenheim 1-1. 3-2 Augsburg against Schalke. You have Bayern 1-2, 3-4. They went angrily against Bayern Leverkusen. They were really on rampage. They did well there. FC Cologne 3, Borussia Dortmund 2. Union Berlin lost against Eintracht Frankfurt, who are really hot right now. Leipzig, they actually did well, 4-0 against VfL Bochum. While you have Freiburg 2 and Mainz 5-1. Wolfsburg 3, Stuttgart 2. The way it is right now, you look at the way the table is standing, and well, it's really very interesting that Union Berlin, despite that loss, they were still able to hold on. They are topping with the same point with Freiburg. They have 17 points apiece on goal difference of +9. Bayern Munich are coming. They are really knocking at the door. More goals, +17, and you have 15 points, just 2 adrift. The two teams are leading the pack there. Borussia Dortmund Dortmund, Hoffenheim, Eintracht Frankfurt in that pecking order. If you look at the bottom of the table, Bochum just with a point, Bayer Leverkusen 5, Stuttgart with 5 points, and really it's shocking to see Stuttgart and Leverkusen at the bottom of the table there, 16 and 17. Even Schalke with standing 15 on the log. Leipzig, Mainz 05, Augsburg. You just can't believe what is happening in Bundesliga, Sharif.
Well, it's surprising that the likes of Bayer Leverkusen among the rock bottom of the table, the teams that are at the rock bottom of the table. Take a look at their position. Number 17 with 5 points. That's surprising, if you ask me. And FC Union Berlin topping the table is also surprising, even though it's just a 3 points gap between them and defending champions, and I prefer calling them usual champions. Usual champions, Bayern Munich, whom I have a strong belief will bounce back. Yes, they will still recover, bounce back. FC Union Berlin, one team that our own Nigerian left to taste the English Premier League. I'm referring to Taiwo Awoniyi. Yes, Awoniyi left FC Union Berlin to join Nottingham Forest in the English Premier League. They're really doing well, and I'm not really surprised with the fact that they are currently the table toppers in the German Bundesliga. I watched some of their games last season because of Taiwo Awoniyi. He was everywhere. He was prolific. He ended up with about 17 to 18 German 20 German Bundesliga.
And now
goals.
He left.
And now he left.
And the team is...
And it seems, this will tell you that they have a formidable team.
Consistency.
Consistency is what matters. It wasn't about Awoniyi. In spite of the fact that he was their leading goal poacher last season. So this will tell you that the team is solid. And for Bayern, I strongly believe they will recover. Probably in the next 2-3 weeks, Bayern will be topping the table.
Good one. Let's see what's happening over there in Italian Serie A. Matches will also play, and we quickly look at the result of the Italian Serie A as it went down. Napoli 3-1 against Torino. AS Roma, well, good one for them. 2-1 against Inter Milan. Empoli 1, AC Milan. They saw they conquered 3-1. Lazio 4 against Peseiro. Lecce against Cremonese 1-1. You have at Monza 3-0 against Sampdoria. Atalanta, well, good one for Lukman against Fiorentina. I was able to beat the one to score that goal, and right now they are still topping. Juventus 3, Bologna 0, Vlahovic, Milic. Look at those guys. Sassuolo 5, Salernitana 0 as it went down in Italia Serie A. You just have to look at Juventus. The fact that they got that player called Vlahovic has really added a little spark to that team. And you look at Napoli, Kvaratskhelia, the player from Georgia, who no one ever believed could turn this around, has been the man really making a lot of statement for Napoli, for Lazio, for AS Roma, AC Milan. All of them are really doing well. But for Atalanta, just like the way it's with Union Berlin, they also are still rearing to go in Italia Serie A.
Well, Atlanta have really been consistent. Recently. Going by their track records of 2-3 years, they were in the Champions League at some point. They reached the quarterfinal and even the semi-final of the Champions. They really shocked everyone. They really shocked everyone. I mean, their performance 2-3 years ago really sent a shocking waves to footballing world. I'm not surprised. I have been watching their games. Even in the Champions League, they've been able to pull the strings. They've been able to make sure that they tell a story of Italian football. So this is one team that I also, just like FC Union Berlin that I mentioned, Atalanta is no surprise at the moment among the leading teams in the Italian Serie A, considering their recent performance, which led them to playing to a certain stage in the prestigious UEFA Champions League.
Hopefully, let's see if they can continue to go this way. Well, Atalanta, Ademola Lookman there, that team made popular in Nigeria by Odile Makinwa. If you remember, he played for that team in Bergamo. Now, we'll quickly move on. Let's look at the French League One. A lot of matches were played. PSG, Lyon, Monaco, Marseille. Well, let's look at the result as it went down. Lyon, they lost against Lens. Monaco 4-1 against Nantes. Moses Simon's team there. Toulouse 4-2 against Montpellier. You have Ajaccio losing against Clermont. And also, not forgetting PSG doing it against OGC Nice 2-1. Strasbourg 3. Strasbourg was 1. Reims 3. You have Marseille defeating Angers by 3-0 at home there. Good one for all these are played. And quickly, when you look at the way these matches ended, you just have to appreciate the fact that it's no longer a farmers league. It's very interesting and very competitive. I still don't understand why you call it farmers league.
Well, the fact still remains, you know, the emergence of
the dominance,
exactly.
The dominance of PSG.
When they first emerged as one of the forces of Europe, that was after the takeover from the I call them the Arab contractors, or is it Arab or oil money, or what people call them, you know. So it's actually something you should expect, because if you have an array of stars like Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and host of other stars in just a team, then what do you expect? These are players that one of them is just one is enough to turn not just the team but the league around. But fortunately for PSG, they've been able to get all these three on board in the same team. So you should expect that. But even though they're still yet to, you know, rubber stamp their authority in European football, which I believe will take them some time for them to do that, because the Champions League is a league that also needs experience. You know, experience is what led their knockout against Real Madrid last season. You know, that never say die attitude, that attitude and character of a team. This is what they are lacking. But you cannot take away the fact that it's a star-studded team. So you should expect PSG to be running riot, because what will make headlines in the Farmers League, so to say? Just that's from you. What makes headlines most of the times in the French Ligue 1 is the fact that a team pulling a surprise against PSG. That is more like a sensational headlines.
Of course.
Yes.
Because
maybe
they know how star-studded they are.
So everybody knows, each and everyone knows how star-studded that team is. So defeating that team is a very big story that will make different kind of headlines. So I expect them to keep running riot across teams, even though it's a league, they will surely stumble, but I believe they will bounce back.
Well, from the way it is, let's look at the way the table is in the French Ligue 1, where the likes of PSG are really in charge when it comes to league football. There, PSG are running away 25 points after playing match day 9. You have Marseille as second, Lorient are standing third, Lens, Monaco, Reims, Lyon, Lille in that pecking order. But Ajaccio, well, just the way they came, it's as if they want to go down again. Strasbourg, Brest, Reims, Nantes, Angers, Auxerre, OGC, Nice, Toulouse, Troyes, they are all in that pecking order from beginning to the end of the Ligue 1 table, 1 to 20. But I have to give it up to PSG with their star-studded team. They want to go places. Let's see if they and Manchester City can at least make statement in this year Champions League. The two clubs are really obsessed with getting the Champions League. Now, quickly, we just have to run away to other stories trending. But this time around, we talk about matches. Matches will be coming up tonight. Let's look at those matches. Monday fixtures: Leicester City against Nottingham Forest. You have Rayo Vallecano against Elche. Hellas Verona in Italian Serie A against Udinese. Those are the three matches in the top leagues in Europe. Leicester will be at the King Power Stadium against Nottingham Forest. We want to see the Nigerian likes of Emmanuel Dennis, Awoniyi. What can they do against Ndidi and Iheanacho? This is like two Nigerian, two teams that have so many Nigerians.
You can even coin it a
Nigeria Classico.
Something like that.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, because it's about you know, two teams with a lot of Nigerian internationals taking aim at each other. And you know, Leicester City have really been doing well in the English Premier League. Nottingham Forest just got promoted, and I'm sure their aim is to maintain that English Premier League status. at the end of the season, because that would be a massive achievement for that team. And Leicester City, from their own end, want to make it to the Europa League, to the Champions League. So I expect fireworks between these two teams in the English Premier League later tonight.
But recently, Leicester City, even though they've been consistent in the EPL, among the clubs that you can say, okay, they are always mid-table, or that time that they won it, they shocked the world. But recently, their performance have really dropped.
Well, even Ndidi
yes.
is running out of form, because his deep in form continues. I've been watching him. He has not really been, at a certain point, Wilfred Ndidi was one of the best defensive midfielders.
Of course. Then people were touting him to go to Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, Manchester United, even at some point. But I think that injury has really affected his performance, particularly last season's performance. But is inevitable. This is one of the things that happen. Messi, Ronaldo, the Peles, the Zidanes, the
injury must just come.
Exactly, that's how we've seen that, and also that may even affect your performance. That at a certain point, that deep in form will certainly, come to fray. But it all depends on you to know how you can manage it. But I believe he will bounce back and continue to control that midfield of Leicester City, and I believe they have all what it takes to at least not just maintain their status, qualify for the Europa or probably the Champions League.
Well, it's the season of sacking coaches. When leagues start, you'll be expecting some teams that are not doing well to do away with their managers. Well, just recently, the New West, we have talking about Wolverhampton Wanderers sacking their coach Bruno Lage. But now, Wolves linked to former Olympiacos Pedro Martins, Sporting's Ruben Amorim, Sevilla's Julien Lopetegui, and you have Celtic's Ange Postecoglou to replace Bruno Lage, rather. So now you have about 4 of them that have been lined up to take over for where Lage actually dropped the baton, and it's going to be a big one. Who will get this? Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, the coaching job is all about hiring and firing. So it's something you should expect because
it's part of, as you are going in, expect that to also come.
That is just how it is, and that is what you should put in mind, because whenever you are not performing, I mean, there will be no excuse, because you are hired to make sure that this team performs well. There should be no excuse. So whenever you are not getting it right, certainly there is something that you're doing that is not leading to that result
that they want.
So Wolverhampton, I think, is one team that can also pull a surprise, but sadly, they've not really been doing well as I expected on a personal note. So I believe they should go back to that drawing board and get someone that can at least maintain, for a league, even before the league starts. There are teams that are aiming for to be on the podium, to lift the league's trophy at the end of the season. There are teams that are aiming to qualify for money-spinning tournaments like the Europa League and the Champions League. And there are also teams that are fighting and rumbling to maintain that league status. So we have different categories of teams and what they aim. So for Wolverhampton Wanderers, I believe one of their biggest aim at the moment should be maintaining their status in the English Premier League.
They don't want to drop.
They don't want to drop.
So that's why they have to get
Nobody
rid of.
would love to drop in the English Premier League because, I mean,
it's juicy.
It's too juicy.
That's the right word. Very juicy league. Although with some hypes anyway, we know how it is. But really, English football, that's a Premier League really scintillating. They've really made it so glamorous. You just can't do without it. Anywhere you are in the whole, even if you are in the Arctic region, you just have to watch the EPL, the press, the hype, the FA, everywhere, everything working concerning that league. Well, you just have to be proud, and we hope that MPFL too one day can also be talked about like this. It can be done. It is very possible. That is why you have to support whoever is in charge right now concerning Nigerian football, and that will be where we'll be ending the show. We just have to support our own. Well, now that we have Guso and the entire executive board, let's see what they can offer and get Nigerian football to that enviable incredible height, both in Africa and also across the world. That will be it on 360 Sport. It has been a wonderful time with Sharif Abdallah. Thank you very much for coming.
Many thanks to you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be right here with you.
Good one there. As we always say, that sport is fitness and business. Keep doing it. It will take you to places. And I am Adeni Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.